EX0 Festival survey time. We will take your feedback to heart and do our best to improve Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. I freaking hope so, dudes. Alright, did you enjoy dueling in the EX0? Not even a little bit. What do you think of the special rules? Not fun. I understand that fun is a very subjective term. When you limit players' options by, you know, for example, like completely removing the extra deck, which is such a fundamental aspect of the game, it severely limits what you are capable of playing. And usually it devolves into some sort of like stun strategy, which is obviously what this tournament was dominated by. Flunderies, which is a stun strategy. So even like cool, interesting decks weren't able to flourish in this tournament because you remove the extra deck. And the extra deck is just such a massive part of like Yu-Gi-Oh! That it's like trying to like tell someone, hey, do you want to do a test drive in this amazing Mercedes like S Coupe class 360 no scope? And you're like, yeah, dude, I'd love to go 300 miles down the Autobahn or something. On one condition, you're not allowed wheels. What are you left with at that point? Yeah, it's a great car, but I can't, like, there's no wheels. That's what it's like in Yu-Gi-Oh! To play without an extra deck. It limits it so much when you can't, like, use such a fundamental part of the game. What did you think of the time limit? See, that is another thing, because when you try and play like a fun deck, and I tried to play some Drytron. Yes, I know, people think Drytron is just Helmet, you know, Herald, Negate, etc., etc. Trust me, I was playing a funny version, okay, so I wasn't doing that. I was just Quadrantis and stuff. There is, like, some combo decks that exist in EX0 Festival, but, like, there's genuinely, like, not a lot of time, because they half the timer by 2, which I guess I understand they wanted to test it, because some people really like it, but I hated it. How's the length of the time limit? Wait, didn't you just ask this? What did you think of the duels having a time limit? All right, okay, it's kind of different. Like, I think it was slightly too short, but it wasn't, like, completely insurmountable. But I suppose that was the thing. How were the event duels with loner decks? The loner decks weren't that bad, honestly. The pure Brave deck was like... I mean, admittedly, pure Brave kind of sucks, but I didn't hate it. Machina, I didn't hate either. It was fine. But the Flunder one was pretty terrible. I don't know, they were okay for the most part. Were you satisfied with the event-exclusive missions? So there's a title, but there's no mate this time round. Yeah, that wasn't really much. How were the exclusive missions added midway through the event? Just like, dude, just give us all the missions at once so I can turbo this crap out in one day, and then I'd never have to play this stupid event again. Like, I'm sorry, I know I'm being really salty right now, but like the analogy I gave earlier, it's like trying to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Without the extra deck is like the same as driving a car without wheels. Like, it just doesn't function to me. Were you satisfied with how the rewards were balanced? I mean, the gems were fine, but this event needs more cosmetics. Did we get Mahad this event, or was it something else? Would you say that you were satisfied or dissatisfied with the overall experience? Overall dissatisfied. Tell us what you think about the extra Zero festivals. I enjoy duels that make use of different rules and regulations. Sure. Yeah. This is all fine. Loner decks? I don't know. I kind of like the loner decks if they're good enough. Honestly, I don't mind them. Yeah, okay. Feel free to send us any feedback you're having regarding EX0 Festival. This festival was clearly made to promote Flunder. Every single game, almost every single game is against Flunder. It's old and boring, and generally not a fun deck to duel against because of Stormwinds and Empen. Try and promote more deck diversity in future events. What else, I guess, can you say? I mean, that's like the main crippling aspect of this. Other than like the fundamental like rule of EX0 Festival I don't enjoy, but that's not really feedback. Like, I want to use my extra deck forehead. That's not really feedback. Yeah, I think they should have absolutely limited more cards in Flunder. EX0, no extra deck generally results in strategies that revolve around floodgates, which completely end and shut down duels. This is not an enjoyable way to play the game, having no chance to activate your cards or use any win condition in your deck. If you have any kind of events or specials you would like to see in the future, duels where also you could put in your extra deck. Okay, so I'm gonna pick only one this time because specifically, I know that they prioritize the one that's picked most. So where is Retro? Special rules that focus on certain types. The number of cards in each is the same as, with the same name you can put in your deck differs from standard restrictions. Okay, okay. Specific cards that fit a certain criteria. Ah, yes. Theme duels that match with when certain cards appear in the TCG OCG. Theme duels that match with cards from the manga anime. Fast-paced duels where players compete with their win rates. Where is, like, freaking classic and old formats and retro? Like, what is this? Like, I don't get it. I mean, these are all, like, fine, but, like, I want to prioritize retro. Maybe this is the closest one? Themed duels that match with when certain cards appeared in Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG OCG. Just use like simpler language here. If you have any kind of events or special rules you would like to play with in the future, feel free to let us know. A retro classic mode with legacy formats cards. A draft and deck building mode. Manga and anime cards. Tag, I guess, could be fun. Yeah, okay. I guess that covers that. So TLDR, to summarize, EX0 Festival was extremely unfun.
I'm what's known as a game.
Because of the reasons I mentioned with regards to the extra deck limit and how it's essentially playing Yu-Gi-Oh! On a massive handicap.
I'm what's known
Which in some ways is fun, but also naturally devolves into strategies that involve utilizing a lot of floodgates. And floodgates are not fun or interactive ways to play Yu-Gi-Oh! That is just an objective, factual truth. And I have evidence for that in another video that you're free to Google by typing in Farfa floodgates. But that is like an objective truth. Floodgates make the game less fun. And so when you have a festival that's essentially dedicated around playing an archetype, which is essentially tier 0, whose whole strategy is to stop you from activating your monster effects with M-Pen or just dropping a barrier statue on the field. Yeah, it is extremely, extremely unreasonable. So yeah, no, I think that's why this festival was particularly unenjoyable. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I think the most important festival that we need next is a retro format or a classic mode. I want to see some old formats come back to the game where we actually go back and forth with some GOAT cards, some Edison cards, some Monarchs, etc., etc. So please, can we get a classic retro festival? Please. Best of 3 siding festival. Side deck festival. You guys are really coping.